For over 20 years now, I've studied the highest performers, the highest achievers, the most successful people on the face of the planet, and there's one thing that all of them have in common. It's a strong, powerful, and effective self-image that helps them to achieve their biggest goals in their life, whether it's in their personal life to be their very best or in their professional career. Anyone who does anything outstanding has a self-image that empowers them and equips them to achieve at the highest level. So if right now you feel more like you've got a weak, disempowered, and ineffective self-image, then I know for certain if you can turn it around and change from this to strong, powerful, and effective with your self-image, I'll tell you in a second what I mean by effective as a self-image, then everything can change for you. You can be in a position where you can achieve your biggest dreams and goals and maybe even achieve more than you've ever even started to imagine. My name's JJ Peller, author of the book Attract Your Potential, where I've actually put many of those strategies of those high performers and high achievers that I've been studying for over 20 years. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean by self-image so you can be very clear on the power of this one strategy for turning your whole life around. And then I'm going to help you have a 4-step framework for actually taking action on this and not letting this just be another video that you watched and maybe felt inspired by, but that you actually took and used in your life to produce positive, helpful results so you can move closer to your dreams and goals. If that's something that you would like to do, then keep watching this video. So when I say weak, disempowered, and ineffective, let me explain. I don't mean you are weak. I mean your vision of yourself, your image that you have of yourself is weak in the sense of it is not strong, which is where you want to be. And that sounds so simple, but hang with me because what's really important to understand is that, think about it this way. If you ever go to the gym and you pick up a weight and you're like, man, that's only 10 pounds. Like that doesn't seem like much. Well, the problem is your muscle is weak. But what if instead you could go in the gym and just decide with your mind that muscle was a lot stronger? And you could actually pick up a 25 or 55 or 75 pound weight and curl it. Well, the cool thing about your life and your ability to achieve goals is it actually is a lot more mental than physical. In fact, I've heard it said that 80% of success, at least 80% of success, is mindset. It's your psychology. In order to help you achieve your goals, you truly have to have a rock solid, strong mindset and psychology for success. So when I say weak, I don't mean you are actually physically weak. What I'm saying is you have a weak view of your muscle. But in this example of the gym, if you actually just believed that you had a stronger muscle, you could lift more weight. And in fact, it's been shown in different kinds of studies that we can strengthen our muscles. We can actually gain physical strength just with thinking about it. We can improve performance in all kinds of ways just by thinking about it. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes or maybe less than a minute. Disempowered simply meaning that it doesn't give you the power source you need to do the things you want to do. And then ineffective and as compared to effective, meaning like it helps you achieve a goal. So someone might say, well, this is my self-image. Like, JJ, this is just how I see myself. I don't know what else to do about it. Well, the reality is you can actually choose your self-image, which is a really cool thing to know for certain. You can choose your self-image, and I'll tell you how to do that in a second. But first you have to understand there's only effective and ineffective when it comes to your self-image. There's only effective and ineffective when it comes to strategies for success. And if your current strategy for trying to achieve your goals is I'm just going to go with whatever I think I am or however I think I am, I'm looking at my past as an example and I feel like I've never accomplished things or things don't go my way, and you have all this negative self-talk and limiting language that holds you back, that's ineffective. You might call it reality, but what I'm telling you is it is ineffective. And so what I'd rather you did is you actually started having a more effective approach to your ability to achieve your big dreams and goals. And so the reason that we can use our self-image to create better results is our self-image is literally the thing that gets us to take action. And that's what I want to share with you right here, which is this really powerful loop of self-image and success. So however you view yourself will literally be the thing that drives whatever actions that you take. However you see yourself will drive the actions that you take in your life. You will behave in accordance with how you see yourself. So as an example, if you see yourself as, I'm not an athlete, I'm not healthy, being strong and physically fit isn't really who I am, are you going to go to the gym? No, of course not. Are you going to eat healthy? Why would you? Because it's not in alignment with how you see yourself. But if you see yourself as an athlete, as someone that's physically fit, as someone that wants to be fit, as someone that wants to be strong, Are you going to go to the gym? Probably, or at least you're more likely to actually go to the gym and take the action of going to the gym and lifting weights or doing all the things, as opposed to the version of you that maybe says, I'm not an athlete, I'm not physically fit, I don't see myself as the kind of person that goes to the gym. However you see yourself will dictate and drive the actions you take and the behaviors that you make. So as another really simple example, if you don't see yourself as a leader, are you going to step up in leadership opportunities? No! Nobody steps up into a leadership opportunity who does not see himself, even in the slightest, as a leader or someone who steps up when someone is needed to step up and take action and take over and own a role or a responsibility within an organization or a community or a family. Likewise, do you see yourself as someone who goes above and beyond? Do you have a self-image that you are someone that works hard? Do you have a self-image as somebody that does more than other people? Or do you have a self-image of someone that persists? Do you have a self-image of someone that is kind and caring and loving? Because how you see yourself will drive the actions that you take. And here's the cool thing. The actions that you take, and you probably know this and it sounds so simple, but there's another complexity to it that I'll explain in a second. The actions you take will deliver the results that you get. The results you get come from actions. This is simple, right? I get it. This is simple. We all know this. I take a certain action, and there's a result that's produced. Here's the cool thing. Depending on your self-image, you will interpret these results differently. So if you view yourself as a learner and someone that wants to grow, you're going to interpret results differently. You're going to say, man, that was really interesting. What can I learn from this so I can do better next time? But if you have a lack mindset, or you have a limited mindset, or you have a fixed mindset, I know as Carol Dweck calls it, then when you see your results, you're going to decide like, oh, well, I was right. I'm not good at this, or I can't do this, or I'm ineffective, or maybe success isn't for me, and you're going to interpret those results differently. Likewise, whatever results you get, depending on whether you have a fixed or growth mindset, will determine your new self-image. Because if you actually produce certain good results and you see yourself taking action and making progress, you might now say, look at me. I'm someone that can take action on this thing, get particular results, and move forward. So everything we do has this type of effect where it's like our self-image leads to our actions lead to our results. And our results, depending on our mindset, how we see ourselves, will actually reinforce our self-image, or it will expand and enrich our self-image. So this is really cool to understand because, as Earl Nightingale has said very often over the years, obviously may he rest in peace at this point, but he's one of the original greats in the personal development space, and he would say, you become what you think about most of the time. And what most people think about is how they're limited, how they can't do things, how they're not equipped to achieve amazing things with their life. And they've got all this garbage going through their head that makes their self-image of themselves garbage. And back to the first thing, it makes it absolutely ineffective. It disempowers them and makes their self-image weak. But as soon as you actually grasp this truth that your self-image is the thing that leads to your success or lack of success, then you can totally change it. You can totally change it because you have complete control of your own self-image. Why? Because it all lives in your head. And as Albert Einstein said, imagination is the preview of life's coming attraction. How cool is that? You can still use your imagination to create your reality. And in fact, not only can you absolutely use your imagination to create your reality. Most people use their imagination to worry or be concerned or think about how things could go wrong, or they remember their future in a crazy kind of way that disempowers them. But if you decide that you're going to use your self-image to help you to be successful, then everything can change, because now you can start to decide, who am I in my personal life? Who am I in my personal relationships? Who am I at work? Who am I in my career? Who am I in the community? Who am I when I show up with friends and family, as a parent, as a spouse, as a significant other, as a child of someone? You can decide. You can create in your imagination a vision of yourself and who you want to be. And the more you visualize that, the stronger you will ingrain that self-image, because like Earl Nightingale said, you become what you think about most of the time. So these are your 4 action steps for completely using this idea of self-image to give you greater success in literally every area of your life. Number 1, you've got to create a really powerful and compelling vision of an ideal dream future that you would love to see come to reality, that you would love to have as concrete reality in your life. Maybe not this moment, but at some point in your life. Like, man, in 10 to 15 years out, and by the way, start to dream bigger again. Because when you dream big, you think big. And when you think big, you open yourself up to even greater possibilities for your life. So when you think out 10 to 15 years about an ideal future vision, which, by the way, Dr. Richard Boyatzis and his team of researchers have absolutely extensively studied what happens when we imagine an ideal future 10 to 15 years out. It activates our PEA, as they call it, or positive emotional attractor state, which actually makes you more open to people and ideas. And being open to people and ideas is absolutely a thing that you need to turn your dreams into reality, because the more open you are to new ideas, the more you have a chance of taking an action that will lead to better results. And the more open you are to new people or people that you meet, the better you have a chance of connecting with more of the right people. Because at the end of the day, the way to achieve your big dreams and goals will happen by you working with and through other people. And so if you can connect faster, better, more effectively with more of the right people, then you will certainly open up more of the best opportunities. And so number one, you've got to start dreaming big. Literally, dreaming big is a strategy for successful living. You've got to get this image in your mind, a vision about the life that you really want to live. And you might say, well, JJ, is that my self-image, or is that like a vision of the world and my life in 10 to 15 years? And the answer is yes, because you will inevitably find yourself, or should find yourself, in your vision of life in 10 to 15 years. And so you're going to be able to look at all the different aspects of your life. What are your relationships like? What's your health and fitness like? What's your joy like? What's your happiness like? What's your enthusiasm like? What's your communication skills like? What's your leadership like? What's your financial situation like? How are you as a parent? How are you in the community? How are you as an influencer? All of these things will come to fruition when you start to think about and dream about an ideal vision and life for yourself 10 to 15 years out. And by the way, when you think of a vision 10 to 15 years out and you enrich it and you make it big and bold and bright and exciting, you will reinvigorate yourself. You will get yourself motivated and excited to achieve it, because the reason way too many people lack passion, enthusiasm, a fire in their belly for their life, and excitement to live every day is because they don't have this vision for life long term that gets them excited and fired up. They're absolutely limited by a limited image of what the future could be like. But as Albert Einstein said, that I already told you, your imagination is the preview of life's coming attraction. So whatever you imagine will come to reality, but you got to believe it. And you got to start by creating that vision that's 10 to 15 years out. Paint that picture as beautifully as possible, because the brighter, bigger, bolder that you can paint that picture, the more compelled you will feel to take the action that will drive you to that future reality. And the second thing you have to do is actually set concrete goals. Because if you just have the vision, it might not give you the path to get there. You're just like, a vision's great, but without the path to get there, or as I like to call them, and have called them in my book, Attract Your Potential, the mile markers on your journey to creating your vision, those are goals. Without those, you're not going to have that path forward that you see. And so I believe that goals are vitally important because it gives us that next target. So if you've got a vision 10 to 15 years out, you need goals that are 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, so that you can set those goals and let those be your targets that you want to go after. Our brains are target-seeking mechanisms. There's a great book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Daniel Maltz that was published in the 1960s-ish, I believe. And he talks about how our brains are seeking a target always. But the question becomes, have you given your brain a target to seek? Most people don't give their brain a target to seek, meaning they don't give themselves goals that will help them get to the vision that they truly desire, that would excite them, that would get them fired up for life. And so, friend, I really, really need you, desperately need you, to start being better at setting goals. And if you don't do them at all, you got to start setting them. And if you kind of do them, you got to not kind of do them, you got to actually do them. You got to set the goals, you got to write the goals out, and you got to look at them and remind yourself of them as often as possible. In fact, I write out my biggest, most exciting goals every single day. Now, do I miss a day here and there because of craziness of having a family and having a couple little kids and another one on the way? Yes, for sure. I do miss days, but my point is the vast majority of the days of the month, I am writing in my journal my biggest goals. There's something powerful about putting pen to paper on your dreams, on your goals. It will re-ingrain it every time you do it into your brain. It will etch it into your brain such that your brain is reminded daily about the target that it's supposed to hit. And that then will leverage what you've probably heard called the RAS, or reticular activating system. And when you have a goal in mind, a target that you've given your brain to seek out and to create and to grab and attain, then your RAS will screen out everything that's not relevant to the targets you want to hit. And because of that, you put yourself in an even better position to be effective at achieving these goals, which will lead to the vision that you have. There's another video out there someday, or another podcast or message someday about goal setting specifically. I probably have them on my channel you can seek. It might be a little bit older. But the other thing you have to do once you have the vision, you have the goals, is get into the theater of the mind. Theater of the mind. The first place I heard this is called Mind Gym, a book by a guy named Gary Mack. He's a sports psychologist and was a sports psychologist for some top-level professional athletes. And he talks about going into the theater of your mind. Actually, I think it could probably be attributed back to Maxwell Maltz, who I think in the 60s talked about the theater of your mind. But Gary Mack is a guy that was a practitioner of it and coached the highest performing athletes in the world, and business people even, on how to use the theater of the mind. The theater of the mind is simply closing your eyes or keeping them open, however you prefer to do it, and imagining that future vision of the life you want, but in big, bright, bold colors in your mind. Because what we see in our brains, in our mind's eye, and allow our brains to take in, will become reality. At least it will be more likely that it becomes reality if we're visualizing it every single day. There's something powerful to visualization. That's why the top athletes, top business leaders, top entrepreneurs on the face of the planet, they all engage in some form of theater of the mind, because it's been proven again and again and again that when you visualize a result, when you visualize yourself taking action and achieving and breaking through and going through struggles and going to your next level and falling down but getting back up and making it happen, the more you visualize yourself achieving, even in the face of difficulties, even in the face of obstacles, you wire your brain, you wire your nervous system, you wire your whole physiology to be able to produce better results more frequently. And so you've got to get in the theater of the mind at least 5 minutes every day, preferably as soon as you wake up. Maybe you listen to some good music while you're doing visualization. I love listening to uplifting, inspiring, positive music that just puts me in this state to be able to visualize in a way that I know it's sinking into my subconscious, and I'm giving this powerful message to my brain. So you've got to get into the theater of your mind, preferably, ideally, when you wake up in the morning and right before you go to sleep. Those 5 minutes before you go to sleep will start to allow you to put this message of your vision into your subconscious. And the subconscious, it's another video, another message, but it is powerful. Let me tell you, your subconscious mind, the below the conscious level, meaning like you've got your conscious mind and then you've got your subconscious, runs about 95% of your life. Most of your life is on autopilot, and that's driven by your subconscious. But when you give the vision and the goals to your subconscious by being in the theater of your mind, now you're wiring yourself so that you use that 95% of your subconscious mind to actually propel you forward to produce the results you want in any and every area of your life. And the fourth thing you have to do, which is very clear at this point, act in alignment. I'm not going to write that word super well purposefully. Act in alignment, because I just want to get to talking to you again, friend. Act in alignment with the goals that you have and the vision that you have, because, hear me out, because when you act in alignment with the vision that you have and the goals that you have, let's tie it back to here, you start to get better results that align with the self-image that you have of yourself, and you will start to move forward even faster. Because when you have a vision of your life, your vision creates your self-image. Because you only exist in the context of everything that's around you, of your physical material body, of your environment. And so my point is, when you visualize a big, exciting future with goals along the path to get there, that becomes your self-image. Because like if I ask you, who are you? You describe probably your profession, the work that you do. If you have a family, you describe, maybe you talk to me about your fitness level, the things you love to do. You talk about all the things in your life that have happened past, present, and what you want to do. And so all of those things combine to make your self-image. And it is this self-image that will either hold you back and prevent you from unleashing your greatest potential, or if you use it in the way I've described to you, your self-image can help you to propel to a new level this year, and maybe even immediately as soon as you start to visualize, set goals, and take action, that's aligned with the person that you want to become and the life that you truly desire and frankly deserve to live. Friend, I love being able to help empower, inspire, and encourage people just like you to tap into more of their fullest potential, to achieve even more in life and maximize this amazing life, this gift that we've been given. And so if you've loved this message, please send it to a friend who could also benefit from the message that I just shared with you. And please like, subscribe, follow, comment, find me on the social medias. I'd love to hear from you. What'd you love about this message? What questions do you have? And I'm more than happy to answer any questions you give me in the comments, or find me on social media and ask questions, and I'll follow up with those. I'll answer in the comments, or I'll make a whole new video or podcast about your exact question. I'd love to help you out, friend, whatever you're going after. Please, please, please refuse to settle for anything less than your greatest potential. Just keep going, and just keep going. Oh, and just keep going, because that's what it's going to take to be successful. And I'll see you next time.